between light and shadow, Baroque art through the eyes of a young artist. The chill of the Roman autumn bit at Alessandro's fingers as he ran through the narrow cobblestone streets. He pulled his cloak tighter around him, the worn wool offering little comfort against the wind. The year was 1635, and the air in Rome was charged with more than just the seasonal chill. It resonated with the vibrant, almost feverish energy of the Baroque. Alessandro, a young apprentice sculptor, was on his way to his master's studio, his mind alight with the drama and grandeur that defined the era. Before, during the Renaissance, the world had been characterized by order, by the perfect balance of forms and the measured grace of the human figure. Alessandro remembered his grandfather, a bricklayer who spoke to him of harmony and sobriety. But now, a new spirit had taken hold of the work, one that pulsed with a raw, almost frenetic vitality. Baroque was not about serene contemplation, but about feeling, about letting yourself be carried away by the force of emotion. He pushed open the heavy oak door of the workshop, and the smell of marble dust and damp clay was immediately familiar. The workshop was bustling with activity. In one corner, the tapping of a chisel could be heard, while in another, a young painter worked diligently on a canvas depicting the martyrdom of a saint. Alessandro's teacher, an experienced sculptor named Fabrizio, stood before a half-finished statue of Saint Sebastian, his brow furrowed in concentration. "Alessandro, you're late," Fabrizio complained, but there was a glint of pride in his eyes. "Have you been watching?" Alessandro knew what he meant. Watching was not simply looking, it was taking in the world around him. The way a ray of sunlight pierced the gloom of a church, the way a beggar's face twisted with despair, the way the wind whipped through the folds of a cardinal's cloak. These moments of intensity have been the bread and wine of the Baroque. Fabrizio pointed to Saint Sebastian. Unlike the serene depictions of classical antiquity, this Sebastian writhed in pain, his body contorted by the imaginary arrows piercing his flesh. Alessandro could almost feel his pain, the muscles tense, the very marble seeming to pulse with life. That was the magic of the Baroque, making stone speak, infusing emotion into the inanimate. "Do you see the chiaroscuro?" Fabrizio asked, running a calloused hand along the side of the statue. "The play of light and shadow. It's not just about showing form, but about creating a sense of tension, of drama. Light itself tells a story." Alessandro knew that Fabrizio echoed the techniques developed by Caravaggio, the master of light and shadow, whose paintings had shaken the art world to its foundations. Caravaggio's raw, unflinching realism had shown everyone how to use contrast to amplify the emotional power of a scene. Later that day, Alessandro was sent to assist on a construction project, one of the many grand structures arising in Rome during this era. As he walked to the construction site, the scale of the architecture stunned him. He had seen the majestic domes of the churches soaring toward the sky, the walls adorned with intricate carvings and gilded surfaces. It was all impressive, but also deeply inspiring. It wasn't just a place to worship, it was a statement, a declaration of power and magnificence. The buildings weren't just buildings, they were theatrical sets, designed to evoke feelings of awe, even humility. This was the Baroque doing its work, captivating the senses, and reminding people of the great grandeur of the world, from the spiritual to the temporal. His work on the site was exhausting, but Alessandro found a curious beauty in it. He was contributing to the creation of something that would not only endure for generations, but would convey a message to future generations, just as sculptures and paintings did. One evening, as the last rays of light turned the marble facades of Rome to a glowing gold, Alessandro stood on a hilltop overlooking the city. In the distance, he could hear the strains of an orchestra playing in a large square, rich, complex melodies swirling through the air. Rome was not just a city, it was a theater of emotions, a living testament to the power of the Baroque. As he descended the hill, Alessandro reflected on the very essence of this age. It wasn't about perfection or cold logic. It was about the raw, messy, glorious experience of being alive, of being touched by sadness and joy, by despair and hope. The Baroque was a challenge to the viewer. It dared him to feel, to connect, to be moved. And in that, Alessandro found his own purpose: to chisel and shape, to paint and build, to contribute to this great spectacle of human feeling that was changing the world forever. He was part of the drama, and that was great indeed. He had dedicated his life to art in this age, and he would never look back.